The beauty of Faraday's idea of the electric field is that it actually physically exists, and under the right conditions you could actually see it. So I'm going to show you a couple of different demonstrations here where you can start to see the electric field by using this device here, which is referred to as a Van de Graaff generator. It's named after somebody. Now, after I turn the generator on, it will accumulate a large amount of negative charge on the surface of this metal conducting globe. Okay, the negative charge is essentially an enormous amount of electrons. Okay, how this works is ultimately unimportant for our purposes. Instead, we're just starting with the basics. We're going to start to see the electric field itself. Okay, now the first thing that I'll show you after I turn it on, and it is rather loud, so I'm going to be turning it on and off as I illustrate here these various examples. But the first example that I'm going to show you consists of these little styrofoam balls that are taped to the side of the globe. These little styrofoam balls are called pith balls. And then each individual pith ball is coated with a little bit of carbon dust. Carbon is also a very good conductor. So then therefore, after I turn the generator on and the generator starts to accumulate a large amount of electrons, well, the individual little pith balls themselves also start to gather some electrons. And then therefore you have the negatively charged surface of the globe and the negatively charged pith balls, and they then repel each other. Specifically, however, because I have the pith balls here taped with string to the surface of the globe, basically the string is going to trace out the electric field lines associated with the generator, which are radially outwards from the globe itself, perpendicular to the surface of the globe. So let me go ahead and turn this on. As I said, it is rather loud. It takes a few moments for the charge to build up. And as it does, immediately you can see that the string here is tracing out the electric field lines associated with the Van de Graaff generator. So once again, the beauty of Faraday's idea is that he uses the electric field as a means of essentially mental scaffolding, basically just visualizing the electric force itself to compensate for his own lack of mathematical skill. But the beauty of his idea is that the field itself actually physically exists. Okay, let me show you a couple of other different versions of more or less the exact same thing. What I'm going to do right here is I'm going to take the rabbit fur that I used in one of my earlier demonstrations involving charging by friction, and I'm going to go ahead and tear off some pieces here of the rabbit fur. And when I do, after I turn the generator on, you're going to start to see the rabbit fur also line up with the electric field lines. Like so. There we go. And like so. Okay. Like that. Okay, and then once again, here's another version of basically the exact same thing. So I have here some aluminum old pie trays. Each one of these aluminum trays is conducting. When I place the trays like so on top of the surface of the Van de Graaff generator's globe, as the charge accumulates on the generator, it also accumulates on these metal pie trays. So all the metal pie trays then become negatively charged, and then therefore they repel each other. That then looks like this. Like so. Very commonly, you'll see a demonstration like this by a person, for example, standing next to the globe and then holding onto it like this. Okay, you are a conductor as well, so then therefore this would then cause the person's hair to stand on end. Much like the pie trays, for example, are repelling each other, each individual strand of hair becomes negatively charged. Okay? Okay, and then for my last demonstration here, I'm going to turn off the lights so you could actually see the plasma discharge, the sparks themselves associated with the generator. And the electric field associated with the generator is going to light up one of these fluorescent light bulbs. One of these fluorescent light bulbs right here is the same thing that you see in ordinary ceiling lights in all the classrooms here at school. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lights. Let me turn the generator on. Okay, now you can start to see the plasma discharge, for example. It's got to charge up a little bit first. There we go. Like so, between my hand and the generator itself. And now I'll go ahead and take the light bulb here and then place it like so. And it begins to light up. Like so. Okay. All right, let me turn the lights back on. So once again, to summarize, the beauty here of Faraday's idea is that he comes up with the idea of the field just to compensate for his own lack of mathematical skill, but the electric field itself actually physically exists. Okay. Today's shirt, by the way, is from Wolves in the Throne Room. See ya. Be safe.